Assalamualaikum,
Yes,
bro.
I think.
How are you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. Alhamdulillah, I'm good.
Yeah, before we go on, let's talk about a little bit of background first. So
Right.
when I think I saw this video a while back. I don't know. It just popped into my I think like my feed or recommended feed, and I saw that
Yeah.
you were like debating or discussing with like this Jason Statham. And I was like, why
I wasn't
is
debating with
Brother
him.
MENJ?
That's the thing. I
Why is
wasn't. I
Brother
wasn't debating with
MENJ
you.
debating Jason Statham?
Here's what we do. I go into the face-off machine, get a whole new face. I turn up, they never notice me.
Oh my God!
No, interesting enough, I actually went to one of his videos, and one of the
All right.
comments that it said that apparently he believes that Jesus was crucified. Is that true?
Okay. I don't know about that because that didn't come up during our conversation. But if he does, then that means.
And he actually replied.
Yeah.
He replied that it is apparently a proven fact.
Oh my God. Okay. That is totally that is a total deviance. Okay, that's a total deviance. Definitely. Okay, it's a totally deviant. Okay. Only Christians believe that Jesus was crucified. To react to this because after the conversation ended, he was bad mouthing me. He was claiming that that this extremist Muslim, this me referring to me, was running away from him in a debate. Okay. I mean this guy actually debated David Wood and apostate prophet. Will you believe it? Yeah, claiming to represent true Islam. My God, the guy is totally whacked. Okay.
You might as well have like Matt Dillahunty represent Islam at this point.
Exactly. Yes,
I'm sure he would do a better job than this guy.
Emotional, damn it!
The heresy by being an anti-hadith. Yeah, that's right.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, you became a so-called Muslim by becoming an anti-hadith. That to me is not being a Muslim. Okay. Yeah. How is rejecting the body of hadiths in Bukhari, in Muslim, and all the Surah As-Sita as you consider yourself to be a Muslim in that manner?
Okay, so you mean that if you reject Bukhari, then you are not a Muslim. So yeah.
Remember raising my hand and saying some shit.
Like, where does he think Bukhari gets his hadith from? Did he just invent them? Like, where does he think he gets them from?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, Bukhari collected his collection from different people, like, even from earlier books, right?
Yes, that's right.
So it's not like you're rejecting Bukhari. You're rejecting Bukhari and other reporters that have reported.
Yes. Because Bukhari was just a compiler of hadith reports, right?
Yeah. So basically, you're rejecting most of companions of the Prophet that have reported and said that what the Prophet was like, what he commanded us to do, without any valid reasoning. And so that's what you're doing. It's nothing to do with Bukhari.
Okay, so you believe that Quran is complete. All verses of Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent us is in Quran, that we have to act upon them. Am I right or wrong?
I just told you that the Quran is complete. So
okay, so now
I disagree with the statement.
Okay, so Sahih Muslim, okay, book 017, number 4194. Abdullah bin Abbas reported that Umar bin Khattab sat on the pulpit of Allah's messenger, peace be upon him, and said, "Verily Allah sent Muhammad, peace be upon him, with truth, and he sent down the book upon him. And the verse of stoning was included in what was sent down to him."
I find it really interesting. Jason Statham thinks he's caught you in some great contradiction. But he's later going to contradict himself because he himself says that abrogation is part of the Quran.
I know that there is a concept that says that abrogated verses, some abrogated verses, not all of them, some abrogated verses didn't need to be in Quran. Yes, they didn't need to be in Quran.
So what are you saying here exactly?
What's interesting is that some fans of this deviant then came to the stream and left comments like this.
Every Muslim rejects hadith.
No, that's stupid, Alika. Come on, really, Alika, that's stupid, all right?
Go astray by living and abounding, which Allah has revealed. So Allah has revealed a verse which is not in Quran. The hadith says the verse came down, but it's not in Quran because a goat has eaten it. So where is the verse? Can you explain for me where is the verse?
Where are they? Okay. Now we don't have any memory of it because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already removed it from the memories of men. This is actually explained in the Quran.
So why he removed it?
If you read the Sirah, you actually will know this.
No, so why he removed it?
Okay, so basically he said that why did he remove this verse? Why? Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered you in the Quran. Okay, in chapter 2:106, he says, if we abrogate a verse or cause it to be forgotten, we replace it with a better or similar one. do you not know that Allah is most capable of everything? There, he answered you. If you actually bother to read the Quran, you would know this. This guy didn't
I
even
don't
read the
think he
Quran.
did. I don't think he did. Yeah,
He's
I don't
talking
think
about
he
the
did.
Quran, whining about it. He didn't read the Quran.
Let's laugh at this. Let's laugh at this. Muji has no knowledge of Islam than the both of you combined. No, 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 no.
He's capable of anything. He saw that there's benefit to be had, or there has to be some kind of benefit. Like, for example, when he removed the verse of alcohol, right? He didn't do it immediately. He removed it
Yes.
gradually, and there's wisdom behind that,
Yes.
because if
Yes,
he did
exactly.
try to, maybe if he did it immediately, that would have caused some kind of negative consequences. And he knows the future, so there has to be some wisdom as to why he did that. By the way, this acknowledgement of the stoning verse or the ruling
Yeah.
of stoning is still in the Quran.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually still there. For example, if you read, there's a hadith on Sunan Abu Dawud. This hadith has been graded as Sahih by Sheikh Albani. So basically, the hadith talks about an incident that happened. It's narrated by Ibn Azib. That happened at the time of the Prophet, when there was a bunch of Jews who were there, and they were kind of like blackened. And the Prophet asked them, so basically, when someone could commit adultery or fornication, what the Jews used to do is that they would blacken them and maybe flog them. I'm not entirely sure, but so basically, this is the punishment that they would give them, right? And the Prophet ﷺ, he asked them, like, why do you do this? Is that the punishment? And then they said that yes, this is the punishment. And then I think he got suspicious, or he then again asked them, like, is this the real punishment? Then later on, they came clean and said that actually, no, this is not the punishment. We changed the punishment because the actual punishment is, it's stoning them to death. And I think Abdullah bin Salam, or like one of the companions who was actually previously a Jew, he has pointed this out, that no, that the punishment for, adultery is stoning to death. So he kind of explained this. And then the Prophet says the following, and this following verses were revealed in regards to this exact situation. Okay, here we go. So this verse was related to this incident, right? So here's what Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says in chapter 5:47. He says, so let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed in it. So basically, what Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is clarifying is that this ruling of stoning is something He Himself revealed in the Torah. He is clarifying it, that this ruling is something He revealed in the Torah. So He Himself is admitting that this is a ruling He gave to the Jews. Now, why is this significant? Because then the Prophet
Exactly.
makes a comment, right, in regards to this. And
Yeah.
he says, "O Allah, I am the first to give life to thy command which they have killed." Meaning, he's saying that he is now reviving the command that they rejected, right? Which means Muslims,
Yeah.
this verse is acknowledging that this ruling was part of the revelation, and it is still
Exactly.
this ruling is still part of hudud punishment, which means that this is still part
Yes.
of Islamic law. This is
Exactly.
why he's saying that I'm now reviving it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like this is in the Quran.
That says that I have to stone a human being. Let me now read for you from Quran who was stoning people. Okay, let me read for you. Quran chapter 11 verse 91. It's to Shuhaib. They said,
So basically, what he's saying is that, you're gonna stone a human being. You're gonna punish a criminal. How dare you? How dare you punish criminals? You should let people have sex. You should let fornicators fornicate.
Exactly.
Criminals
Exactly.
steal. Like, how dare you? It's so inhumane. Why are you punishing criminals? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Let's let them all go free and let them do whatever they want, right? Yeah.
for your family, we would surely stone you, and you are not mighty against us. Quran chapter 18 verse 20 to Ashhan. For surely if they prevail against you, they would stone you to death or force you back to their religion, and then you will never succeed. Quran chapter 26 verse 116 to Noah. They said, if you decease not, oh no, you shall mostly certainly be of those stoned to death. Quran chapter. There are so many verses in Quran that mention stoning, and always, I don't want to read all of them for you, and always is by pagans. So it was a pagan practice, and people like Bukhari, who wanted to keep these barbaric acts of pagans, they fabricated a hadith and said that the verse came down, but it was eaten by a goat. That's why it's not in Quran, but it's a very important verse, and we have to follow that verse which is not there. And I'm going to play for you Imam of Masjid of what is it? Houston Masjid, that he was also saying that I cannot.
Okay, so he says that it's from the pagans, right? Because it's always associated with the pagans. You know what? Let's assume he's right? Let's assume that anything that is associated with pagans is something that Muslims cannot do, right? This is interesting because in India there are temples that are dedicated to sex, right? Having sex, right? And we know that Hindus are pagans, right? So imagine he and his wives go to one of these temples, and then at night his wife is like, "Hey, honey, come to bed," and he's like, "No, no, 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 this is associated with the pagans." No, honey.
No, please don't, honey, because this is the pagan behavior. We cannot do this. His wife gonna smack him in the face.
This is like the dumbest logic you're gonna find. I mean,
Oh my
yes.
God, this guy.
I mean, it doesn't matter whether this is something is associated with someone or not. You have to look at, did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command this or not? Did the Prophet sallallahu told us to follow it or not? Right? There are a lot of
But that's the
similarities
thing.
between all these
But that's
different religions.
you see, that's the
right?
that's the thing,
Yeah.
because later on I tried to quote from the Bible, and then this guy was suddenly, what I was saying is the Bible for pagans, and then this guy suddenly started twisting and turning in a different way. Later, I think later on in the part of the video, you will listen to it, right? So
Yeah. So
you want to continue playing this? Yeah. Or you want to say?
what I
You want
was
to continue saying?
Yeah. What I was saying was that, so basically, if this is the kind of like this guilt by association fallacy, if you want to go by this fallacy, then be consistent.
Yeah.
Then you can do
Yeah,
anything.
exactly.
Like, Hindus believe
Exactly.
that God exists. They believe that they also fast. By the way, I don't know a lot of
Yeah.
people know this. Hindus fast, so you can fast.
I know.
You
I
can
do.
pray
I do
because
know that.
Jews pray, right? So
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You can eat it even, they also eat. So what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Cannot put me in question in the day of judgment and say that you're supposed to follow a verse that you don't see in Quran. Okay.
What does it say in the Quran that you can use the internet? Where does it say that? Where does it say that when it comes to giving dawah, you can be on internet, you can be on YouTube,
Exactly.
you can start your own website? Where's that? This is a very stupid kind of fallacy. I mean,
I don't know. This
keeps
guy is whacked.
He keeps
No, I mean,
repeating, because the thing is, Islam isn't just the Quran, right? I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to listen to the Prophet in the Quran.
Exactly.
How are you supposed to do that? Because his commandment, or what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, is not in the Quran. This is guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But he told us to follow the Prophet. Okay. So this is this argument. Okay. So basically, this is their position, right? So premise one, Allah tells us that He would never burden or punish us for things that are beyond our capability. This is something He says in Quran 2 and 6.
Yeah, I can see that.
Allah does not require of any soul more than what it can afford. Meaning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not tell us to do something that is beyond our capability, right? And in previous 2, we can say that Allah tells us that He would punish us if we don't listen to the Prophet, right? 4:14.
Yes.
And this is also mentioned in 4:14 here. But whoever disobeys Allah and His Messenger and exceeds their limits will be cast into hell. Right? So He tells us that He would punish us if we don't listen to the Prophet. Now, premise 3. If the hadith were not compiled or it's unreliable in its entirety, then that means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish us for things that are beyond our capability. Right? Which means, according to the hadith rejector narrative, Islam is false, because this creates a major contradiction in our religion.
Exactly.
Major contradiction.
Good
Because
point.
if Allah is telling us that He is not going to punish us for things that are beyond our capability, then He's telling us He's going to punish us for not listening to the Prophet. Then it has to be the case that the Prophet's wisdom is collected, right, in a sahih or reliable form. Because if it's
Exactly.
not, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wrong. Right? He's
Yes.
he's telling us to do something that's impossible.
Exactly.
And therefore that would
Exactly.
contradict the Quran. So
Yeah.
the conclusion would be, therefore, for Islam to be true, the Sunnah or the Hadith of the Prophet has to be reliable, and any
Yes.
rejection of this without a valid academic or Islamic justification will prove Islam to be false. So basically, according to the Hadith
Exactly.
rejector narrative, Islam is false. Okay, if you reject it in its entirety, or if you reject it without any valid or just cause, which is what he's doing.
By the way, I have to make a quick correction. I made a mistake in the argument. This argument is only sound against hadith rejectors who reject the hadith tradition in its entirety. However, this is not sound against hadith rejectors who reject some hadith and accept others without any valid reason. Because the argument shows a contradiction, where at one point the rejectors believe that Allah will not punish for things beyond our control, on the other they also believe that He will punish for things beyond our control, such as not listening to the Prophet. However, hadith rejectors like Muji as an excuse, which is the criteria of following the Prophet, is fulfilled by their cherry-picked version of hadith. So this argument doesn't affect them even if they are rejecting hadith without a valid reason. So I have to be fair to Muji or other like-minded hadith rejectors and say this argument is not a sound argument against them. However, it is a sound argument against hadith rejectors, who reject the entirety of the hadith tradition. Muji is still wrong academically, as I will explain now, inshallah.
On screen, yeah. Okay, it's there.
It's narrated by Ubaidah bin Samit. It says, the Messenger of Allah said, take from me, for Allah has a way for them. For the married person who commits adultery with a married person is 100 lash, then stoning, right?
Yes.
And stoning.
Yes.
Yeah, this is narrated by another person, Abdullah ibn Abbas.
Yeah.
And it says the same thing. Maiz ibn Malik came to the Prophet and admitted fornication twice, but he drove him away. He then came and admitted fornication twice. He then drove him away. He then came and admitted fornication twice. He then said, you have testified to yourself 4 times, take him away and stone him to death. So yeah, this is another narrator saying this exact same
this
thing.
Sahih. Yeah.
This is the one. This is narrated by another person, Abu Huraira, who's also a companion of the Prophet, a very reliable narrator. And by the way, none of this is from Bukhari. These are all like different narrators, different hadith.
Different narrators.
Abu Huraira, and he's saying the child is for the bed and the fornicator is the stone, right?
Yeah.
Fornicator is the stone. And this is narrated by Ibn Umar, another person, completely different companion. He's also saying the same thing. The Prophet saw some stone 2 Jews. So yeah, another narrator also saying the same thing. Here we can look at, this is narrated by Jabir bin Samra. And he says that the Prophet stoned a Jew and a Jewess. He stoned a Jew and Jewess. So another narrator.
Yeah.
And then this is narrated by Umar ibn Khattab. And again, he's saying the same thing. Where Allah mentioned with the truth, He revealed the book to him. Among that will reveal the ayah of stoning. So the Messenger of stoned, and we stoned after him. So again, another narrator saying the exact same thing. Again, this is narrated by Anas. Reported that a Jew killed a girl of the Ansar for the ornaments and then threw her in the well, smashed her head with a stone. He then was caught and brought to the Prophet ﷺ, and he commanded that he should be put to death.
Stoned to death,
basically, a Jew killed another person with a stone, bashed her head in, and then the Prophet did the same. And this is known as qiyas.
Qisas.
The qisas, yeah. So the point is that you have all this kind of like all these companions of the Prophet that lived at the time, all saying that he told Muslims to punish kind of like this adulterer, this fornicator, these criminals with this harsh punishment, because I don't know like why he thinks a criminal should go scot-free, and he's telling his companion, from all his companions are saying, yes, the Prophet ﷺ told us to stone people, and we did stone people, right? All these 12 kind of completely different companions, and here we have Muji, who I don't know, who probably knows better than his companions, saying it's all wrong. They don't know what they're talking about.
They're all wrong. They don't know what they're talking about, and they're false. Don't know where he get the idea from. See.
No, I say that it is a Quran says it's
we were looking at the Islam, we were looking at the Matan, we were looking at the opinions of the scholars, right?
Scholars of ISIS and Taliban, yes, you can follow those scholars of ISIS and Taliban.
Wow.
You stupid, dumb.
Scholars of ISIS and Taliban. So is the Prophet a scholar of ISIS and Taliban? Because he did this. All his companions that lived at the time They all said that this is what he
So
did.
yeah,
So imagine
Umar
it, imagine it.
Khattab. Yeah, Umar Khattab must be a Taliban. Yeah,
This is according to Muji's logic. Can you see it?
yeah. Yep, I can see it.
According to Muji, anyone who
Yeah,
stones other people is an extremist. The Prophet
yeah.
stoned, therefore the Prophet is an extremist.
Yeah,
He's
it's
insulting
crazy.
the
Yeah,
Prophet.
he just basically insulted the prophet and made fun of the prophet. Yeah.
The hadith, okay, the hadith doesn't say it's abrogated. The hadith doesn't say it's abrogated. It says that it is a duty laid down in Quran, and I'm afraid that people will forget
I mean,
it. Okay.
can you pause?
By the way, this is false. There are other versions of this hadith, where Umar did say in clear language that this verse is abrogated. However, he wanted to write it down in the mushaf, in case people reject it. He says, "The Messenger of Allah stoned, Abu Bakr stoned, and I stoned. If I didn't dislike that I add to the book of Allah, I would have written it in the mushaf."
In the fascist regime, they are committing this act of barbaric act because of this fabricated hadith. It's abrogated, then we don't have to follow it. So can you explain for us why they follow it?
So basically, he's saying Iranian regime, doing this, that therefore that's why we cannot follow it. Yeah, Iranian regime and the Shah also eat rice. Eat food. I guess we can eat food then. I guess. Food is haram for us. What is this logic? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I mean, yeah, like
This
you
has
said,
nothing to
guilt
do
by
with whether
association, right?
the Iranian is abusing this ruling or not, right? This is
Exactly.
about what the Prophet said, right? And
Exactly.
This,
I mean,
something-
if the Iranian government wants to abuse it, why do you want to still want to disobey the prophet? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a difference. There's a separate topic altogether. Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
So
This guy
one
has
brother,
totally deviant views.
brother Ramadan, Ramadan,
Ramadan.
he had
Yeah,
commented.
Ramadan.
He said, "For your
Yeah.
information, and this is for anyone who reads this comment, this reformist who claims that he is a Muslim believes that Jesus Puba did died on the cross, which clearly contradicts the Quran. This was
Yeah, he does.
the after
Yeah,
debate
4157.
with Arora, and
Yeah.
go
So
to 7
yeah.
minutes. This is what his
yeah.
response. My understanding of the verse does not contradict the Quran, but your understanding of the verse. So stop with the nonsense, because in another stream I played and scholars saying the same thing. So yeah,
Oh my
he does
God.
believe that Jesus died in
Died
the
on the cross. Oh my God, that totally goes against Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 157. Okay, sorry, 147 or 157. I think 147.
Killed the
Yeah,
Messiah,
yes,
Jesus,
yes,
son of Mary, the messenger of Allah, but they neither killed him
the Jews,
nor
yeah,
crucified him.
yeah.
They neither killed
Yeah.
him nor crucified him.
They neither
It
killed
was
him nor
only
crucified him.
made
It was
to
only
appear
made
so.
to appear so.
Even
Yeah.
those who argue for this crucifixion are in doubt. They have no knowledge whatsoever,
Yes.
only making assumptions. They certainly did not kill
They
him.
did not kill him. Yes.
So
I mean,
he is
yeah,
outright rejecting the Quran.
exactly.
He's outright rejecting the Quran.
So
I mean,
Muji, if you're watching,
if he's
Muji,
rejecting the
yeah,
Quran, then he's a
yeah.
kafir. If he's rejecting the Quran, he's a kafir.
Exactly. So Muji, if you're watching this, not only are you a hadith rejector, you're also a Quran rejector. Okay. So what does that make you, right? I hope you're watching this. I really hope you are.
Which is that. So basically, he keeps saying things like, these things like, oh, why do people getting stoned? Why should we use stone this like poor people who are fornicating? So let's see what are some of the effects of fornication in society or on your mental health. Like what happens when you allow kind of infidelity without any kind of punishment or restrictions, right?
Yep.
So there's a study, there's an article that is written by, hold on, is a psychological article that is peer reviewed, reviewed by Karin Garp, who is a clinical psychologist. It says that long-term psychological effects of infidelity. By the way, infidelity means when someone cheats on their partner or other things. Infidelity can cause problems in any relationship. The effects of such betrayal can be long-term and devastating, right? So, for example, it says infidelity can have long-term effects on quality of relationship. Infidelity can involve sexual or emotional affairs with someone outside the relationship agreement you have with a partner. Okay, so basically, it's cheating, right? Dr. Dennis Ottman describes those who have discovered a partner's affair as traumatized. Ottman names the trauma response post-infidelity stress disorder, or PISD, in his book, in its 2009 book.
Okay.
And then he goes on to say, you might experience symptoms consistent with post-traumatic stress. This is how bad it is. You know how when people go to war, right, they come back with this kind of
Yeah.
psychological
Yeah.
damaging
Trauma. Yeah.
psychological
Trauma.
effects.
Yeah.
Trauma,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
kind of trauma you're gonna face oftentimes if your partner cheats on you, because it's a
Yeah.
very dehumanizing thing and it's a very harmful thing
Yes.
psychologically if you really like your partner.
Yeah.
So instead of a shock to your system, as with post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD, discovering cheating can be a mental shock to the system you've built as a couple. Otman
Yes.
adds that phrases of recovery from infidelity are not unlike the 5 stages of grief. Research shows that
Okay.
infidelity can cause uh, increased anxiety and depression in addition to stress. So this is
Yep.
also increases depression and anxiety. So it causes a lot
Yeah.
of psychological harm. So if you like
Exactly.
click this link,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
you can see. I don't know if you can see this. Hold on. So basically, if we click the link, it will take you to the research paper in question,
Yeah.
and it basically shows how infidelity increases, anxiety and depression. Then, what are the long-term effects of being cheated on, or how does it affect your brain? And
Yeah.
it has a very bad effect on your brain. For example, being in love produces more oxytocin and dopamine in our brain, and infidelity can disrupt the pathway that causes release of these chemicals in our brain.
Okay.
So it's a very effective. It has a very negative effect on your brain.
Yeah.
Then it
Yeah.
says when your child finds out you cheated, and there are also
Yeah.
psychological effect on your children as well. And this is
Children.
some of the
Yeah.
psychological effect based on studies that they found. If your child finds out you cheated, it can cause many ripple effects. Your
Yeah.
child may side with you or with and trust your partner more than you. So basically, it
Yeah.
can cause distrust in the family. Right? Your
Yeah.
children will start to
Yeah.
hate you. Your children
Yeah.
will not, want to side with you anymore. So it kind of breaks that
Yeah.
trust.
Yeah.
Then it says they may experience a feeling of confusion, anxiety, abandonment, and isolation, not unlike the partner who was cheated on.
Yeah.
And one study suggests also that children with a parent who has had an affair may have trust issues with future romantic partners. So they're also
Okay.
psychologically damaged. They also cannot
Yes.
form like proper relationship
Yeah.
with other
They can.
partners
Yes.
because
Yes.
their
Yeah.
mother
Yeah.
or like father cheated. So they're
Yes.
also
Yes.
psychologically damaged.
Basically
So this is
affecting the family unit. Yeah.
by the way, did you notice how this thing spreads from one person, then
Yeah.
affects their husband, affects the children,
It
then
affects
affects the next
everyone. It's
generation?
ripple effect. Yeah.
Because
Ripple effect.
yeah, ripple effect. And another study shows your child may form negative perception of fidelity. A 2017 study looked at how children imitate infidelity modeled to them in childhood in adult
Yeah.
relationship. Meaning, your child will also, in many cases, will also like to cheat on their partners.
Yeah.
Imitate,
That's bad.
model.
That's bad.
So
That's
basically,
bad.
you see how this affects like entire society, right? First, it
Yeah.
starts with
Yeah.
you, and it affects your
Yeah.
partner, who then is
Yeah.
psychologically damaged and cannot form like proper relationships. Then it affects
Yes.
your child, who also
Yeah.
psychologically damaged and cannot form relationships.
Yep.
Then they also
Yep.
do the same thing. Then that then spreads.
Yeah.
Then that then spreads. So this is
Yes.
extremely damaging to the whole society,
It is. It is.
and it causes mental illness as well, as we saw, post-traumatic stress, and it can cause depression and anxiety. So the point
Yeah.
is that this is not a good thing. Like no one should allow this type
Never
of thing
is.
to happen in the society. Yeah, because it's gonna destroy society. Because this is gonna destroy families. And how do you destroy a society? It's simple. Destroy the family, because the family is the glue that holds everything together. If you destroy the family, you destroy society. It's very easy. This is a
Yeah.
very brilliant plan from the shaitan, right? And this is why
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Islam we have such very strict punishment against this type
Exactly.
of infidelity or cheating.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
not
That's
right.
right.
And this should be
That's right.
punished with the harshest punishment. And this is one of the most beautiful thing about Islam, because Islam doesn't just care about our psychological or physical well-being. It also cares about spiritual well-being and mental
Exactly.
well-being. And this is one of the most beautiful
right.
things, because there are no other religions that takes these things as seriously as Islam does. Because to a Muslim or from an Islamic point of view, it's not just that your physical well-being is important; your psychological well-being is important as well. And this is how you build a better society. Because if you have a religion that doesn't care about you psychologically, then that's not gonna help you in any way.
Yeah.
And by
Exactly.
preventing this, and this is why it's so interesting, because Islam takes these things so seriously, mental health or like health or spirituality so seriously, that it has very strict punishment that
Yes.
that affects us spiritually and mentally. So
Correct.
this is why we have such harsh punishment for this thing, because this is going to destroy your society. That's exactly what we're seeing. Because you'll notice that oftentimes infidelity causes marriage to be destroyed. And there are many studies that shows that many marriages have been destroyed because of infidelity, and this leads to divorce. And when you have divorce, then this leads to other
The
things.
family unit get destroyed, and then
Yeah.
then it leads to societal collapse, and then then
For
chaos
example, there's
happens.
another American Psychological Association research found that 20 to 40% of divorce are caused by an affair or extramarital affair.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So this also leads to increases divorce. So this basically destroys like the whole society from within and inside are like a cancer. So and this is why Islam has such strict punishment for this, and like people like Muji are actually helping this destruction of families without realizing it. He thinks that this is
Maybe
humane, but he's
Yeah.
actually destroying the society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he's influenced by Western secular liberalism, and he wants to match it with the Quran. And because in Islam we have a punishment for adulterers, he doesn't like it. Therefore, he says no. The hadiths are false. Then end of story.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his methodology, right? Yeah.
And this is what makes Islam so beautiful, because and I feel sad for some of these people, because they don't actually understand why these laws are there. It's there for a reason. There for a reason. If you could actually
Everything is there for a reason. Everything in the Quran is there for a reason. Yeah.
If you at least try to understand it, you would see the wisdom behind it and why these things are there. Instead of like adopting this kind of liberal worldview, you should question the liberal worldview actually. Is it actually good for us? It's not.
Yeah.
Because I also went through this phase where I kind of like, when I was not like kind of like religious, I thought that all of this thing sounds barbaric. But then when I actually started thinking about it deeply, or like try to understand it, I realized that yes, these things should be punished. These are bad things. These things that destroy families, destroy society.
Yes.
So
right. That's right.
So yes, infidelity should be punished. Fornicators should be stoned to death. That's a good thing. May Allah guide him so that he can actually be a good duat. Yeah. And this is what we want. We don't want like any negative for him.
to be fair, he does seem to be sincere in spreading Islam, and he does seem to want to do something about deviant and apostasy. Okay, but the problem is that he's going it a wrong way. Okay, right from the beginning,
his heart is in the right place, but he's doing it the wrong way because he doesn't understand Islam properly.
By the way, I noticed that this deviant recently made a response to our stream. He completely failed to respond to any of the points raised in the stream. However, there was one point which he kind of responded to, but it was so stupid that I have to make a response here. So let's see what he said.
Okay, let me see. I don't know the first basic of Aqidah. Then you know better, so please call in and talk to me. Okay? So help me. I have said it many times. Call in and help me.
First he says to call him. This is quite funny considering, since when was it my job to educate you? How about you actually take the religion seriously, go and learn, and we can talk.
In my age, let's say he's in my age, when I became atheist, okay? Well, I don't believe that I was Muslim just because I was born in a Muslim family. No, I never was a Muslim, exactly. I was Muslim when I accepted it, okay? When I said,
wait, can you pause? Pause.
All right,
yeah. So basically, he's saying that, I wasn't a Muslim, even though I was born in a Muslim country. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not a Bengali, even though I was born in Bangladesh, I guess. You're not a Malaysian. So you're born in Malaysia.
I wasn't born in Malaysia, bro.
Okay, such a...
So how long do they talk about you in this video?
I don't know. I haven't watched all of it, okay? So anyway, the guy says that he makes religion as, nationality. Can you imagine? He said that, I was born in Bengal, so I'm not a Bangladeshi. Or you were born in Malaysia, then you are not Malaysian. No, that's nationality, okay? That's different.
This absolute thundering dumbass completely misses the point I was making. So basically in the stream he says, he wasn't a Muslim even though he was born into a Muslim family. In Islam we believe in something called the fitra, which means we believe that everyone is born a Muslim until their family and society changes them from their natural state. This is based on a Sahih hadith of the Prophet. This is why I made the analogy between nationality and Islam. Clearly this idiot doesn't understand how analogical reasoning work. The point of analogical reasoning is to show the logical consistency of something. This doesn't mean I'm saying nationality and religion is the same. What I am saying is that there is enough similarity, that an analogy can be made, to show the inconsistency in the logic. Both Islam and nationality is something we are born into. This is something they both have in common. So, from an Islamic point of view, saying you are not a Muslim even though you were born as one, is the same as saying you are not an American even though you were born in America. Who knows, maybe this deviant idiot doesn't even believe in the fitrah, so maybe that's why he's saying it. However, the point is, it's a valid analogy if he accepts the concept of the fitrah. If he doesn't and rejects the Sahih narration of the Prophet, then that only further proves his heresy. Anyway, I'm done with this guy. May Allah guide him. If you guys liked the video, don't forget to like, share and please subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. I'll see you guys next time inshallah. Jazakallahu khairan.